What's going on, guys? It's PokePond back with another video for you. So much to talk about today. We are seeing some insane moves in the market right now. We're talking everything about all the hot sets in sealed 151, Prismatic, Destined Rivals, Ascended Heroes. You know we're covering it all. You know we're giving our honest opinions on what you should be buying and when, as well as keeping you up to date with all the price movements. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you subscribe down below to never miss an opportunity. Well, let's get into it. Let's start off today's episode by talking about Ascended Heroes. Now that Ascended Heroes has been out for a little while, we can clearly see that there is nowhere near enough product to satisfy the need. It's been a very popular set for people opening it. It's been very popular for like rip and ship streams and stuff like that. And people are just churning through it. It is a good reflection on sort of where the market is right now. The market as a whole is really hot right now, and we're coming off of the back of 2025, which was again a period of pretty insane growth. We did see a bit of a pullback over the Christmas period, but that is quite normal over sort of like the winter period. And we sort of said to people at the time, we're not that worried about it. And we think that going into 2026, if they continue bringing out strong sets like they have done, they obviously brought out Mega Evolution. We had Phantasmal Flames and Ascended Heroes. Three actually really, really good sets. I'm not going to focus on too much on what's not come out yet until we've actually seen a little bit of data. I think people are very quick to write off sets, particularly like Perfect Order and Chaos Rising and stuff like that. I mean, yes, there's been some leaks of some cards of Chaos Rising and stuff like that, but as a whole, there's never usually a massive rush to invest into sort of any set at all, really. And sets that you're not sure about, like Perfect Order, like the following one, Chaos Rising. It's just so naive to write them off straight away. I would much rather just be cautious into them, not really say too much about it, and we'll just see how the release goes. Because a really important thing to realize at the moment as well is they're just not printing enough product for demand. So even if a set is a little bit lackluster, it could massively spike up the price of the set on release, just because there's not enough of it to go around. Like, we need to understand that a lot of this is supply and demand. Now, the demand for the newer sets is likely going to be quite a bit lower than stuff like Ascended Heroes, Phantasmal Flames, which are kind of obvious plays. You know, they're obvious good sets. There's obviously going to be a lot of demand behind them. But if you've got a shortage in supply as well, you could see prices rise quite high for stuff like Perfect Order and Chaos Rising on the initial release if there's just not much product about. And that's why I would be cautious moving in early to those sets, and I'd rather let the market settle down a bit and we can review it as the months go by. If in 6 months' time it's a really popular set, the set value's there, the chase cards are there, I think it's unlikely that it's going to be as valuable as some of these other sets. But I'm not going to write it off. We'll wait and see what the data says. People are way too quick to write stuff off. A perfect example of that was Twilight Masquerade. Twilight Masquerade, everyone slated that before it came out, and now it's one of like the top 5 sets of Scarlet and Violet. Now, I'm not trying to compare Twilight Masquerade to any of these sets because they're completely different circumstances. I'm just talking about market sentiment, that people are quite often too early to write sets off. And I think we can circle back now to Ascended Heroes, and we can have a look at Ascended Heroes. Now, Ascended Heroes is an obvious play. It is a very popular set. It's been popular on release as well. I've not been buying in too heavy to it at the moment. I've been buying a decent amount, and I've been seeing a decent return. I've been buying some PCETBs. They have gone up very quickly as well. I don't really ever recommend people buy PCETBs, not because they don't go up in value. They definitely do. They're just a more risky play, and it would be irresponsible for me to recommend more risky plays to you people. If you want a really safe play on Ascended Heroes, the standard ETBs are definitely the way to go. Yes, you will miss out on a lot of volatile price action on the upside to PCETBs, but your money is a lot safer with the standard ones. You get a lot better cost to value ratio of the product that you're actually getting. So if things do just suddenly go really bad, or you need to liquidate quickly or something like that, you're less likely to be in a position where you've bought in at a higher point. Say if you pay $240 to a PC ETB now, yes, it's unlikely that it's going to drop from that value, but it could drop down to $200, and if you need the money quickly, that might leave you in a bit hot water and you have to sell for a loss. Whereas if you're buying the standard ETB for around about $80-90, that kind of thing, you can almost always sell it back for that same price. So you're just limiting that risk. So I just wanted to make that clear on PC ETBs. I do like them as investments. I do invest into them myself, but just be aware that they are a more volatile investment. You are often buying in at a much higher price point, and you're factoring in already within the price the potential gain of it in the future. So that's great if everything keeps going in that direction, which it probably will, but you're just more likely to find yourself in quicksand if the market were to correct or drop down a little bit. PC ETBs and stuff with a higher price premium on them will be affected first. So full transparency, because I think some people get confused on the channel like that. I buy PC ETBs. You're more than welcome to as well. You do see some of the highest gains on holiday sets with the PC ETBs. However, you just need to be aware that if you don't have much risk tolerance, then you're much safer in the standard ETBs, and that's why I tend to recommend them more, unless you can make up your own decisions. If you're more risk tolerant, then the PC ETBs are a bit of a play right now, and we're doing well out of them at the moment. I personally really like the idea of the booster bundles as well. I think that booster bundles, when they come out at the end of April, again, there's not going to be enough of them around, but I'm looking forward to piling more into Ascended Heroes as the booster bundles come out, because I think that they will be a safer play like the standard ETBs, but they'll just take up less space, and I think they'll be quite expensive on release. I'm expecting about £50 in the UK, or sort of $70 out of the gate in the US, and I'll be quite happy to pay those prices. I'm not going to go too crazy. I'm just going to start drip feeding in over its multiple years in the print window, and price will probably creep up through that, so I'll probably continually be buying a few bundles each month and just slowly paying more and more into it. But I'm not going super crazy on Ascended Heroes until the bundles come out. I think that is going to be one of the safest plays, and that also means that I have extra capital as well to invest in other things. It's not that I'm just going to be only buying Ascended Heroes for the next 2 years. I think that that's not necessarily the best thing to be doing. I'll also still actively be buying stuff like Destiny Rivals, Prismatic Evolution, or anything if I just see a good deal on it. Do you know what I mean? Hey, if Perfect Order or Chaos Rising sits on shelves and it starts getting fire sold for below MSRP, I'll move into it, even if it's not the best set. I mean, sub MSRP sealed Pokemon boxes, as long as you can hold it for the long haul, as long as it's not a terrible set, that will be quite an attractive play to me as well. But we'll just have to see how those newer sets pan out. Ascended Heroes is doing very well right now. I do really like this set. I've told you sort of my plans for moving in. I've bought some PC ETBs already, looking really to just hold back a bit of capital over the next month or so and get ready for the bundles releasing end of April, which is actually, I think their release is about 6 weeks from now, so we've got a little bit of time, and there's no need to rush in either. On launch day, I'm not buying up everything and paying crazy prices. I'll buy a few on launch day, and then the next week I might buy another 1 or 2. Do you see what I mean? A few a month. That's going to be my strategy with Ascended Heroes, and I think it will go well. Let's have a look then at the ETB prices for Ascended Heroes. We're seeing a little bit of a price correction to the upside after they were coming down quite a lot. Last week we did say we don't expect them to really dip below $100. If they will, then it's not going to be for a super long amount of time. Just depends on how many of them are available, and we're seeing a bit of a bounce back on TCG Player this week. They're back up to 114, gaining about $10 from last week's averages, and we're seeing on eBay you can still scoop them up for just under $100 here. on US eBay, $96 on an auction. I think anything sub $100 for a standard Heroes ETB is a good deal as long as you're willing to hold on to it. Yes, there is a small potential that they do mass reprints and try and print it into the ground like they did with Prismatic, with like partnerships with Costco and releasing loads of pallets of that. But I think we would end up in a fairly similar situation with Prismatic, where it just struggles to stay much below $100 for any length of time. And that's a worst case scenario as well. So I think buying into standard ETBs now at around about that $100 range. Again, I wouldn't go super crazy at that price point, but picking up a few for your collection at that price is completely fine. I think if you want to move into it, I don't think they'll get much cheaper over their product life cycle, and more than likely they'll just continue to slowly ramp up in price. Last sold eBay UK, 83 quid. You're looking at around about 85 to 90 quid all in the UK, which again I think is quite a fair price for the standard ones. We'll quickly have a look at the PC ETB. So just this is a UK listing. Let me find US to US. Let's just see. There we go. PC ETBs 340 right now in the US, and in the UK they're up to 240 already. Now, a couple of weeks after release, I was buying these PC ETBs for 140. They quickly then jumped up quite a bit to that 200 quid range, and then I bought another one last week for 200 quid, and it's already up to 240, already up another 20%. Like I said, PC ETBs, if you can tolerate the risk, you need to understand that if you're getting in at this price point, or $340 if you're in the US, you are just taking more risk. Okay, you're much safer buying the standard ETBs, but with more risk comes more volatility. More volatility could mean higher profits if it goes in your favor, but also it could easily pull back a bit as well. These could drop back down to under $300. A lot of you will say, yeah, that's unlikely, but it's definitely a possibility, and it definitely could happen. So be cautious if you're buying into PC ETBs. But I am, full transparency, mainly just waiting for the bundles though. But let's move on to Phantasmal Flames. Phantasmal Flames chart has been broken for a little bit of time, but we can always check back at our previous videos, because this handsome chap here gives you the data every single week, so we can look back and we can see that last sold on eBay last week were 330 on an auction on March the 6th, and one being dumped as low as 289. But we'll go with 330 because that was an auction price for last week then. And we can see that prices now, last sold 350. So we're up about $20 on Phantasmal from last week. We could calculate that out very quickly. 330. Phantasmal is up just over 6% over last week. Phantasmal is such an interesting set to me, because everyone loves the Charizard card, but then everyone just had such an expectation that the set wouldn't perform well. For me, it was an obvious play from early doors. We did tell everyone that we were buying into it actively. We thought it was really cheap when it was in that sort of $200 range, when it was cheaper than everything in the Scarlet and Violet era. And we filled up our bags with Phantasmal Flames. And part of the reason why I'm not going super heavy into Ascended Heroes is stuff like Phantasmal Flames. I am always keeping an eye out for people who are dumping Phantasmal Flames, because I still think that it's actually quite an attractive price point to buy into Phantasmal Flames, even at this kind of $350 range. Because, again, yes, subject to reprinting, you know, could have big reprints in time. No guarantee of that whatsoever, though. I don't think reprints are going to affect the price that much. I think that Charizard card is going to be one of the most iconic cards, not just of the Mega Evolution era, but of the last few blocks together. I think that Charizard card is so recognizable as a real like banger card, and it will be for time to come. I'd like to try and look at sets and try and work out which cards are going to be most recognizable in 10 years time. And that really helps me to shape sort of my investing journey and what I like to put money into. I mean, just off the rip, I can just name a few cards without even thinking about it too much. Bubble Mew is going to be one from Powdown Fates. Sunzard from 151. A little bit Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. Pikachu from Surging Sparks, a little bit. But this Phantasmal Flames Charizard, like, let's take Phantasmal Flames as a set out of it. Like, let's take that out of the equation. Let's just focus on the chase card, focus on the single. That Charizard is going to be worth a small fortune in a PSA 10 in 10 years' time. And I think everyone realizes that. So to be able to buy into a booster box like that, even at this 350 range, I think people are still sleeping on Phantasmal quite a lot, and I'll be happy to continue to buy into Phantasmal Flames over the next 2 years. Again, nothing crazy, but I might pick up a booster box of Phantasmal once every couple of months and just slowly increase my position in that. And it's the same with some of the other top sets. I'm still going to be buying into 151, even though prices are going crazy, because I just see it continuing to go in that direction. So Phantasmal up a decent amount over the last week. We are seeing sales here on eBay US around about that 360 range there. And then in the UK, 230 all in, right up there at all-time highs. And I think it's just going to continue to creep and continue to push, to be honest. I wanted to show you the ETBs as well. ETBs going for $80, the standard ones. So cheaper than Ascended Heroes. And I feel like I talk about this quite often on the channel, that people really have blinkers on and like have really low attention span and can only focus on the sets right in front of them. Ascended Heroes is at the forefront. It is in the spotlight right now. I actually think that standard Phantasmal Flames ETBs, if you can't afford to buy into the main booster box for $80, I don't think you lose on that. You're not that far off of MSRP for a nice minty box of that could potentially contain one of the best cards of the last 10 years. To me, I see a lot of value in Phantasmal Flames, and we've been recommending to people since day one that they should be buying into it. And I still think it's massively undervalued, to be honest. I'd be happy to buy into more of it as time goes on. Let's then talk about Mega Evolution base set. Mega Evolution base set, we said it was undervalued. It was for the longest time trading in around about that $230 range. It was one of the cheapest sealed booster boxes on the market of any Pokemon era. It was cheaper than Paradox, Temporal, Sword and Shield, no, not Sword and Shield base, Scarlet and Violet base. Like, it was really, really cheap. We said it was too cheap because it's actually quite a good set. And again, people aren't really focusing on this. All of the attention is on Ascended Heroes right now. And I think there's a lot of value there, and it is climbing up in value. I think that people are starting to realize that it was underpriced at around about this range a couple of months ago. Look at this, just 3 months ago, it was trading at like 237, 240. That was making it one of the cheapest boxes in the market. Today, though, it is trading up over $280. Last week, it was 278. This week, 288. So it's up about $10, around about 4% over the last week. Again, sleeper set. If you buy this and put this away, I don't think you're going to be disappointed in a few years' time. Last sold eBay US, $252. I think you'll get deals on these because I think you will get people that bought these on release thinking that they were just going to shoot up in value. And they're just not going up as quickly as some other stuff. You know, people are going to be FOMOing into Ascended Heroes. Destined Rivals is doing crazy things. Prismatic 151. You're always going to get people dumping sets when it's not the fastest growing set. And I think that if you keep an eye on Mega Evolution base set booster boxes, you will find people that are dumping these, you know, 250, 240, that kind of range. And that's a really good price point to buy into. That is a non-enhanced one in the US, going for 252. Yeah, enhanced. But look at this. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Yesterday, an enhanced one dumped 240 on a buy it now. So, you know, people will be dumping these below market if they want a quick bit of cash or a quick liquidation. This guy doesn't even have any feedback, no reviews whatsoever. What are the chances are that that's the first Pokemon box that that person bought into, and they just thought it was going to go to the moon because they didn't really know what they were doing, and they're not really here for the long haul? I would say the chances of that are actually quite high. eBay's pretty good if you're buying from someone with no feedback as well, or if you're just buying from anyone. Generally, they protect the buyer. If you have any issues with this box when it arrives, if it's damaged or anything like that, or it doesn't look right, it looks fake or something like that, eBay's always got your back as a buyer. I've returned multiple sealed products and never had an issue. So I wouldn't be super put off buying a box from someone with no feedback if it's around this bottom of the market range, around about 240. I wouldn't be buying an Evolving Skies from someone with no feedback, though, or a Team Up box. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit more suspicious, but I don't really think people are really faking a Mega Evolution base set booster box at this stage in the market. It's US to US shipped as well, which is always a good sign. If it was an international import, again, I would be a little bit more cautious about it if they've got no feedback. But there we go. 240 in the US, last sold in the UK 245. So kind of creeping up there in price here in the UK. But yeah, that's enhanced versions. They are a little bit rarer over here in Europe, the enhanced versions. Yeah. Let's move on then to Destined Rivals. We were talking a little bit about Destined Rivals in our opener. Destined Rivals, again, is one of those sets where we've been saying since day one, it's an obvious play to move into it. I feel like the same people that told you not to buy into it when it was $200 are the same people now who won't buy into it because they think that they've missed the boat. And it's trading now at 505, 520 on TCG Player, and they're like, oh well, I missed the play. No, you haven't missed the play. Destined Rival is the best booster box of the Scarlet and Violet era, and it will continue to climb up in price as long as you look at a long enough time horizon. Yes, it has the potential in the short term, as with any other box, to dip down in price a little bit and correct down a little bit. But once you zoom out, like, I think we all know where Destined Rivals is going to go in the long term. In X amount of years, X being an unknown number, in some amount of years, Destined Rivals will be a $2,500 booster box. Very confident in saying that. In X amount of years, Destined Rivals will be a $5,000 booster box. Still confident in that, a little bit less confident than the $2,500 estimate on it. So if we know quite comfortably that it's going to push up, 5x to $2,500 in some amount of years, then I don't see a problem buying into it, even at this stage. Okay, yes, the best time to invest in Destined Rivals was on release, but the next best time to invest in is now. Like, you haven't missed the play. Destined Rivals, although it is a monster and it is one of the fastest growing booster boxes in value of all time, you've still not missed the play. Destined Rival isn't just suddenly going to stop. It isn't just going to get to $800 and then never go any higher. I think that that's a very, very unlikely scenario. And like, it hasn't even had enough time to run yet. Destined Rivals isn't even a year old yet. It isn't even 12 months old yet, which is kind of crazy to say when you think about it. What's going to happen when it's out of print? Like, that's all you need to ask yourself. And like, what is that X number? How many years until it hits $2,500? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you how many years it will take to 5X from now. All I can tell you is that I'm very confident that it will. It may take 1 year. It may take 5 years. I think that realistically, it's going to be somewhere between the two. I think it's going to be somewhere between 1 and 5 years. It's going to hit that $2,500 range. More than likely, closer to the 5-year range. probably 3, 4, maybe even 5 years to get to that stage. It may take longer. I don't know. This is the thing with investing and my predictions. My predictions are often very accurate. What I can't tell you is how long it will take to get there, because I can't tell you what the Pokemon market is going to look like in 6 months' time. I can make an estimate on that, but it's very difficult to predict where it's going to be in 6 months from now. Okay, Destined Rivals. Let's look at prices then. Last week, we saw a little bit of a retracement down from around about this 560 range at sort of start of February on TCG Player on the average charts. Last week, it was averaging 514. This week, we're seeing 505, 507. These are all sales from yesterday. 520, 520, 520, 520. So about the same on the average price charts. But when we actually look at eBay, last sold, 614. What? Destined Rivals continuing to push all-time highs. 614 is pretty bananas for for Destined Rivals booster box. I just paused for a second then, because I just suddenly thought, is that now higher than Brilliant Stars? I've got Brilliant Stars loaded up on another tab here. Should we have a look? Brilliant Stars last sold on TCG Player. Yeah, 589 last sold on TCG Player from 2 days ago. So it is official. Destined Rivals has now eaten Brilliant Stars, which is absolutely crazy when we think about it. I think it's just going to keep going though, guys. And I think that people are just going to FOMO more and more into it. We haven't seen those big reprints of the booster boxes. And I just want to put something into perspective for you as well. Even at 614, which seems really expensive for it, 614 divided by 36, we're still looking at $17 a pack for Destined Rivals. Now, again, there's no way in my mind that Destined Rivals is not capable of having a $20 a pack like value. So even if we just put it up $3 at $20 a pack, and again, I'm not saying it's going to do this overnight, but in some amount of time, I think it will easily push up over $20 a pack. And that will take it to, oh, I did divide, my bad. 20 times 36. That takes it to 700 a box. I don't know why I did times 100. Yeah, 720 a box. I factor in as like worst case scenario value of where it goes into. So even buying in at like 614 now, I still don't think you lose, even at that price point, which is kind of crazy to say. Destined Rivals is just a monster, though. We'll look down the list as well at more sales, because I want to show you that this isn't just a one-off at 614 from yesterday. Okay, 614, and you might say, oh, but that's her best offer. No, it's not. You click on it, it's sold for 615. Let's scroll down. We can see more of them. Let's find another one. See, look, 545. So that's how quickly the market's moving. That is a huge swing in price up there. Another one, look, 519, 550. So it's like 540. These were all from yesterday. So it is live breaking out over $600, which is kind of mad to think about. You might say, yeah, PokePond, but market is 550. You only get one sale at 614. And it's like, yeah, but that's how the markets go. You start off with one sale at an all-time high. And then where are we going to sit in a couple of weeks' time? In a couple of weeks' time, you'll see multiple sales over 600. Okay? Like, it's just going to keep going. Again, short term, yeah, we could see some pullbacks. It could drop down to 500 a box again. And that would be great. I'd love to see it at 500 a box, because then more people can move into it. More people will get their opportunity to move into it. And they won't be priced out of the market. If you're feeling priced out of Destined Rivals, at the end of the episode, I'm going to talk about other options that you can do to still get into Destined Rivals. So don't feel like if you're in a different financial bracket to some other people, and you really can't afford $6.15 on a box, you felt like you missed your chance with Destined Rivals, you haven't. Okay, I will talk about some other options at the end of the episode. Right, last sold, eBay UK. Again, prices are all over the place. Look, $6.70 for a sealed box. This was from yesterday. And again, yesterday, $4.24 on a buy it now. That's right up there at all-time highs again. Destined Rivals is an absolute monster. I've been telling people to buy it from day one. I'm still telling you to buy it. This is again why I'm not going super crazy into Ascended Heroes. I will be buying it, but I'm not just going to only focus on Ascended Heroes, because we are in a golden era of sealed right now. There are so many good sets right now. You got Destined Rivals, Prismatic, 151, Paldea and Fates. All amazing plays to be made right now. Why limit yourself to just what's in the spotlight and what everyone else is focusing on right now? Okay, I would love to see Destined Rivals drop down in price a little bit, but I'm still happy to buy in at these prices. I'm happy to buy in at 614. And hey, if you can scoop one for even cheaper, if you could scoop one for, what's that, nearly $60 less on a buy it now, it's a great opportunity to buy in. I think that we're seeing a sale over $600. I think it's not long before $600 is the floor. You'll never see a Destined Rivals box below 600 again. And again, X amount of time until that happens. That might be 7 days until that happens. That might be a month until that happens. That might be 2 months until that happens if there's a pullback in the short term. But as long as you're buying this kind of stuff and you're putting this away for 2 years, I'm telling you, in 2 years, once this is well out of print, it's going to be a crazy price. Right, let's move on. Prismatic Evolutions. Again, another monster set. How are we not in a golden era of sealed right now? We've got so many good sets right now and so many good sets to move into. Prismatic, I keep telling you guys that it's undervalued and that it is a train that is just gathering up speed. It is the most obvious play right now. It's just seen as the boring play because it's still quite cheap. But I'm telling you, Prismatic is a monster. It is going to be snapping on the heels of the 151 Elite Trainer box once it's had enough time to run. Okay? Look, price just continues to climb up on it. I keep telling you guys it's undervalued. I told you guys to buy in. I called the floor of the market at like $90. I said it's never going to MSRP. Costco couldn't ever stock enough for it to ever go to MSRP. It's just impossible. And we saw that. We called the bottom of the market, and we've been calling it every single week on the way up as well. We said even at this point, 120, buy in, 130, buy in, 160. You haven't missed out, buy in. We're still saying it now. And look, it's now breached over $200 a box. We called it perfectly. And I'm telling you, it's still a great play at $200 a box. This is a $500, $600 a box. Easy. But in X amount of time. I don't know how long it takes to get to $500 a box, but there's no way it's not going to follow 151 to that level. It's got the evolutions. It's got the insane Sumbreon hit. Just have a look at what that's selling in a PSA 10 for right now and tell me that this box isn't going to go to $500 plus a box. We all know it's going to happen. It's psychology. People want the newest, hottest thing that's shooting up in price. Everyone wants Ascended Heroes. They're FOMOing into it so hard. But meanwhile, Prismatic is just gaining and gaining and gaining momentum. And it's just going to keep going. Look at this. Right. Look. Even last week, it looked expensive at all-time highs at $190 a box. This week, last sales, today, this morning, 200, 200, 197, 194, 2 for 200, 200. That's up 5% over last week already, and it's just going to keep going, guys. Look at this. Last sold, eBay US, new listing as well. They're now getting insta-bought out at $200. It's absolutely crazy, but we're just getting started. It's going to push up. If you felt like you missed the boat with 151, now's your opportunity with Prismatic. I'm telling you, because I see Prismatic going higher than 151, given enough time to run. I really do. What's going to happen when this is out of print? What's going to happen when this is 2 years out of print, 3 years out of print, 4 years out of print? The price is going to go crazy, guys. It really is. It is the easiest play right now. Okay. I have a YouTube join club where you can pay a monthly fee and I will message you at any time on Instagram. You can message me any questions. What should I do with my collection? Should I sell this? Should I buy this? Hey, PokePond, I've got a couple of grand to spend. What should I move into right now? I will tell you for free what I'm telling everyone right now. Prismatic Evolutions. It's the obvious play right now. And it's so obvious of a play, people aren't making it. Sometimes stuff is so obvious that you won't make it because it looks cheap. I get it. $200. You're like, I'd rather move into Ascended or I'd rather move into Destined Rivals because that's exploding in price. No. Prismatic is the one. It just hasn't had its time to run yet. It's starting to recover now to what the price always should have been after the big printing. Okay, now it's starting to go to where it should have been if the Costco print hadn't have happened. The big Costco releases. It just suppressed down the value for a long amount of time. And now you're starting to see it start to run. But it's only just getting started, I'm telling you. Prismatic is the play right now. If you're smart about it. 151, again, also a great play. Already had a lot of a run. The I was going to say all of the holiday sets of Scarlet and Violet, but I'll take that back. Most of the holiday sets of Scarlet and Violet are monsters, and you just haven't seen their full potential yet. I'm talking about 151, Paldean Fates, and Prismatic Evolutions. All three of those sets are, in my opinion, nothing compared to what they're going to be in 5 years' time. In 5 years' time, I think that those are going to be some of the most expensive Elite Trainer boxes in the hobby, full stop. I think that they're going to start coming for some of those older boxes. I was looking up, interestingly, I hold some older boxes still from... I kind of started collecting sealed ETBs for a time, back a long time ago. One of my oldest PC ETBs, not PC ETBs, normal ETBs that I hold right now is Burning Shadows, because I really liked Burning Shadows as a set. I really like the Charizard Chase card. I love the black ETB as well. And do you know what they're going for right now? Like 200 quid. Normal 151 Elite Trainer box, still technically in print, but basically out of print next month. 620. So 3x a Sun and Moon Elite Trainer box of quite a decent set as well. I know people slate Burning Shadows, but I actually loved it as a set. It is a Charizard or bust set, but I think it's a cool set and it's a cool ETB as well. And you don't see them around that often. But it's just crazy to think at where some of these ETBs are right now compared to some of the older ones that are well out of print. It's just super interesting. Anyway, 151. Again, it is a monster. There's loads of hype around it right now. Prices are going crazy. Could we see pullback in the short term? Yes, definitely could. Because prices are inflated with a lot of hype. Could we equally just see prices continue to run? Yes. Do I recommend you buy into 151? Yes. I'm still quite happy to buy into 151. I'm a bit priced out of buying more ETBs now. I don't really want to be spending in this $620 range for an ETB. But the bundles, I'm still quite happy to buy into bundles for their price point. And yeah, they're going crazy in price. I think they'll continue to go crazy in price. Happy to keep adding to my position on 151 over the next few years. I will continue to buy them. Again, I'm not going crazy. I might buy a bundle once a month, or I might buy one once every 2 months or something like that, because I'm buying other stuff as well. I'm not just focusing on one thing. I'm not focusing on Ascended or 151 or Pound and Face. I'm just looking for deals. Okay, those are all great sets. There's so many great plays and so many great sets that I think are massively undervalued right now. So yeah, that's what's going on. 151, let's have a look at the prices. It's had a massive run up in price over the last couple of months, mainly because it's going out of print and people are FOMOing into it as well. I think that it's a great set and it's a great opportunity to still buy into it. 563 last week. It's now at 620. So that is 40, 50, 60, $57 on 563. 57 divided. Oh, 57 divided by 563. It's up nearly 4%, which is a decent amount considering that it's up like 62% over the last 3 months, most of that being in the last week or so. And I think it's just going to continue to run. Again, last sold eBay US 575, so a little bit below market there on a new listing. New listing because it got bought out. People understand that yes, it's at an all-time high, but it is now a $600 booster box. So if someone dumps it $25 below for a minty box, it's a great opportunity to buy into. You're just saving yourself $25. Look at this as well. The PC ETB, I'm not going to focus on this, but this is so nuts. $1,500 now for a PC ETB of 151. Also, as well, while we're comparing this to other sets, we were talking about Destined Rivals is now more expensive than Brilliant Stars, right? 151 normal ETB is nearly more expensive than Brilliant Stars. They're about the same price. $575 for an ETB of 151. And if you're lucky, you can scoop a Brilliant Stars for like $10 more. That is nuts, guys. Like, let's just put into perspective how crazy that is. Because I tell you what, no one, as far as I'm aware, are making these kind of comparisons to you. No one is actually objectively looking at the market. And some of you guys might already be realizing these prices and these similarities. But no one's making regular weekly YouTube content, which is telling you that 151 is now nearly as expensive as a Brilliant Stars booster box. Not even the ETB, a booster box. And it's not even PC ETB either. The PC ETB is in a world of its own right now. $1,500 is absolutely nuts for the PC ETB. That is more expensive than a Lost Origin booster box, a Fusion Strike booster box. Like, it's just absolutely nuts. You take so much risk though buying into a 151 PC ETB for $1,500. That will quite possibly continue to run up in price, but equally as well, that has just as much risk to pull back to $1,200 or $1,000. Like, that's such a risky play, these people buying into the PC ETBs for that kind of value. But anyway, 151 ETBs on an absolute tear. I think that it's paving the way for Prismatic. I think that Prismatic will go up to these price ranges as well, up to that $600 range. We'll just have to tell. We'll just have to tell. What I'm trying to say is we'll just have to wait. Time will tell. Okay. Last sold eBay UK. They're up to $465 now. That's crazy. But look at the swing in price. Okay. 2 buy it nows. Both, one from this morning, and it's only like 11 a.m. now. One for $465 on a buy it now. Buy it now yesterday, so less than 24 hours ago, someone scooped one for $399. So massive swing in price right there. I think that 151 is going to continue to be very volatile. However, I do think the volatility, especially in the short term, is going to be to the upside. And especially in the long term, it's going to continue to climb as well. We could see, and it's a bit early to say, but we could see a $1,000 151 ETB within the next couple of years. I think that is a very real possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, But it's definitely possible. It's definitely plausible. I think at some point it does have to stop and stabilize out. I think it's nice to think back to when I was sort of new and early into my sealed journey, and we were looking. Well, I was looking at XY Evolution booster boxes, and it just seemed like they were just going to keep going up forever. They just kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and they printed those into the ground. There were so many of them, and XY Evolutions was one of those sets where I really, over the years, watching it grow, it really cemented to me that this is a viable thing to move more money into. Seeing what happened with XY. And for the longest time, when it kept creeping up in price, once it started going like, I'm going to talk in pounds now rather than dollars because, I wasn't looking at the US market back then. I was only looking at the UK market where I'm based. But I was watching it climb. It was going up to 500 quid, 600, 700, 800, 900. Then it pushed up like 1,000 quid. And people at that time then started to FOMO into it. And this is years after it went out of print. And people started to FOMO into it. The individual packs would go in for like 20 quid, 30 quid, 24, 25 quid. I was paying that for single packs. I was enjoying trying to hunt single packs on eBay for like the cheapest value. And yeah, people thought it was going to keep going for forever. And it didn't. It slowed down. It got to about $1,000, well, 1,000 quid, and then it pulled back to like 800, and then it just sort of stayed around that range for a very, very long amount of time. Now, I'm not saying stuff like 151 is going to do that, but it's important to look at previous sets where the market thought it was going to keep going up forever, and it's very important to realize that that's a very real possibility that sets will plateau and they'll get to a point. Now, I'm trying to look at 151 Elite Trainer box and I'm trying to think ahead of time where that plateau is going to be. I could see it stopping and stalling in price at some point in the near future. Now, I don't know what price range that's going to be at. The market's going to determine that. It could easily be a situation where it goes up to $800 and then doesn't go any further, the standard ETB. That's a very real possibility, and I don't think people are awake enough to that idea that that could happen. If anything, that is slightly more likely to happen than it just continues to climb up way over $1,000. I'd love to see it climb up way over $1,000 and keep going, and that is also a very real possibility as well. But people need to be open to the idea that at some point this is going to stop climbing up, especially stop climbing up so aggressively as well. And it could then sit for a couple of years without much movement. It could get to like $900 and then it'll pull back to like 800, 850 and then just stay there for 3, 4, 5 years. That is a very real possibility that I don't think many people are thinking about. I think a lot of people right now buying into 151 are FOMOing and thinking it's just going to keep going up infinitely. It won't. It will stop at some point. I just don't know what that level will be. It might be $800. It might be $1,200 an ETB. But once you start pushing up over that range, I just don't see a standard ETB of 151 in a short time frame of like less than 5 years pushing up over 2K. I mean, it's possible, but once you start increasing your price targets, the percentage chance of that happening in a short amount of time, I'm talking about a 5-year window, becomes slimmer. I think in 10 years, it could just continue to pump. Okay, because at that stage, then it just becomes a rare, almost like an antique in the sealed hobby. So yeah, something to be aware of. Those are just some thoughts that I'm sort of vocalizing out loud. I think that 151 is a good play at this price point. It will continue to climb. But I would be cautious at predicting that this is going to blow past, $2,000 an ETB in the near future. I think that that's quite unlikely. We'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, last sold, eBay UK, 465 quid. We looked at that, and then 400 on a bit of a dump as well. I think anything around about this 400 range, if you're in the UK, is a crazy good deal. Journey Together then. Right. I feel like once we get to Journey Together, we can bring the energy down just a little bit, just a touch. I still like Journey, Surgeon, all these other sets, but I feel like we can just bring the energy down a little bit. We're through the crazy ultra modern sets. Journey Together, Surgeon Sparks, all of them are actually decent plays though, to be honest. Journey is kind of hovering at around about 270. Last week it was at 257. Last sold 264. But we are seeing some at around 260, that kind of range on eBay. Sometimes they sell a little bit more, sometimes they sell a little bit less. We can see it here on eBay. Look at this, last sold from yesterday, 270 for a nice minty enhanced box. I think that that's close to where it should be market value. I think it's a little bit expensive. I think that if you take your time and you don't rush, you could probably get one for around about 260. But then we've talked about this before. It's not all about trying to time the market. Save yourself $10, but you might miss the play by trying to wait to save yourself those $10 for a buy it now for a nice minty enhanced box for 270. I don't think that's a bad play. We talk a lot on the channel about the floor of the Scarlet and Violet market. I do think the floor is set now somewhere between about 250 to 260, probably closer to 260. So to buy Journey Together, only about $10 off of the floor on a buy it now, not have to, try and find an auction and be ready for that auction, to just do a nice easy buy it now on a minty box. I think that's actually quite a good play. I've said again on the channel quite a lot, Journey Together is not going to make you rich overnight, but it's good value for money for that kind of price point. It is a decent set that I think will continue to grow over time. If you put that away for a good amount of years, I think you'll do fine. Again, this is what I'm talking about right here. Look, 265 on an auction. So you can get it a little bit cheaper if you go for an auction. I think 260, 265 is a more fair price for it, but I wouldn't mind paying 270 for it as long as I'm holding it for a little while. Especially the enhanced version. You can see another one here going yesterday for a buy it now for 250, which I think is a very fair price, and I think that that's a good price point to buy into that. That's a really good deal, and it looks like a really nice minty box. So kudos to whoever picked that one up. I think that's pretty good. Last sold here in the UK around about 165 all in, 160, 165. Another one here going for 164 all in, 165. There were a bit of a restock of these recently. They were floating around for retail at LCSs, so that's why prices are a little bit cheaper here in the UK. Again, you can't really lose buying into a booster box at that price point. It's all about risk tolerance, which is exactly what I talked about. If you look at, like, let's compare it to a 151 Elite Trainer box, because we were just talking about those. 151 Elite Trainer box, let's say, hypothetically, $600. Okay, nice round number. For you to double your money on that, it needs to rise up another $600 to $1,200, right? For Journey Together to rise up and for you to double your money, if it's 161.90 times 2, it's only got to go to 320 a box, and it's all about risk tolerance. I do think that 151 will shoot up and double in price a lot quicker than Journey Together. We'll get to 323. But if you don't have a particular time horizon where you have to sell it, if you're quite happy to instead trade on value and trade on price points, you will do very well in this hobby. So what I mean by that, if I buy into a Journey Together at 161 and I say I want to double my money on that, then I set the price goal for 320 quid. When it hits 320 quid, I'm happy to sell. I'm very confident that Journey Together will hit 320 quid. It's just X amount of years. Okay, it might be 2 years, it might be 5 years, it might be 7 years for it to get there. But it doesn't matter because I've got a safer investment, which is much less likely to pull back in price because it's got no room to pull back in price. You're almost buying in for retail. So if I have to wait 4 years to double up my money on that, that's a much safer play than 151, where potentially I might double my money in 2 years. It's all about risk tolerance. And I think it's important to be diversified a little bit in your collection. And I don't think many people talk about that. In fact, I think a lot of people talk about the opposite, and you have to buy the hottest set right now. I do think that will become more important in the future. However, as long as you've got an unlimited time horizon, so you're quite happy to buy a Journey Together and put it in the back of a storage box for half a decade, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you don't lose. And it's a lot safer than buying into some of these big sets that are really valuable. Me, personally, I do a bit of both. Okay, I mainly put most of my capital into the good sets, but occasionally I'll scoop up something like this for retail. Why not? You know, I'm quite happy to have that in the back of a box. It's better than having money sat in the bank, and I can't lose buying into that for retail. Anyway, let's move on. Surgeon Sparks, almost exactly the same situation. I think that is massively undervalued right now for what it is. I think they'll perform really well over the long term if you've got an unlimited time horizon. If you're happy to wait 4, 5, 6 years with your Surgeon Sparks box, I think you'll make a lot of money on it. It's decent. Will you make more money on Destin and Phantasmal and 151? Probably, but you're taking more risk with those sets because you're buying in at a premium already. You're buying in at that sort of pre-priced in future action that's going to happen. Surgeon Sparks last sold last week, 258 on the averages. This week, about the same, pretty flat, 250. eBay US, look at this. You get people dumping them. This is cheap, guys. 245 for a nice sealed box. That is one of the cheapest boxes in the hobby right now. One of the cheapest booster boxes. There's not much else that's cheaper than that. It was bought out on a new listing tag. Okay, I only just noticed this, right? This is wild. Look at this. So it's new listing tag, bought out straight away. Look at the photo. Where's this person? They're at the vending machine. That is wild. They haven't even taken a step away from the machine before they put it on eBay. That is crazy. They've literally got the restock of it. They've swiped their card. All they've done is lifted their arm up a few centimeters, taken the snap and put it on eBay. And it's probably sold straight away because they're selling it at such a reasonable price. But for them, it's a quick scalp, it's a quick flip. That is wild. Having a photo at the vending machine. I mean, I've seen photos where you're like at the car. So they've at least walked to the car before they've taken a photo of it. But to take a photo of it before you've even walked away from the machine, that is wild, guys. And it speaks volumes about the state of the market right now. Wow. That's really, really shocked me. I don't know what to say. Photo at the vending machine. Okay, for people in the hobby, okay, that is the definition of scalping. Okay, a lot of people get it wrong with what scalping is. A lot of people will call what I do scalping, where I hold a box for 5 years with the intention of reselling. That's not scalping. Okay, that is storing wealth into a tangible asset for the future. An asset that I like and enjoy. Some people might define that as collecting. That's not scalping. That is scalping. Buying something and selling it instantly for profit. That is crazy. Wow. Yeah, let's move on. That has really shocked me. I don't know what to say about that. I didn't even notice when I was first looking at prices, prepping for this episode. Um, wow. The Is it only one photo as well? Yeah, they didn't even bother taking other photos. Literally just the one photo at the vending machine. Oh, and you can see in the background as well, everything else is sold out. Oh my gosh. That's so shocking. Yo, comment down below what you think about that vending photo. That's nuts. Here we go. Last sale in the UK. Let's move on. 208 quid. Again, we had some Surgeon Sparks restocks here in the UK. Not as many as the Journey Together wave, but we did see a little bit of Surgeon Sparks. That's why it is quite affordable here in the UK. Again, you can't lose out at that price point. If you buy that, put that away for a few years, you will make money. You're not going to get rich off of that, but that is a more certain investment going forward. Okay. Paladin Fates. Okay, we're not through the crazy sets yet. Paladin Fates is doing crazy bits right now. It is up 35% in the last 3 months. It is continuing to climb as well. We've said it's been undervalued. I named earlier Bubble Mew, one of the most iconic cards of the decade, and will continue to be as well. In 10 years' time, people are going to recognize that card. What that card will be worth in a PSA 10 in 10 years' time, I dread to think. I really do. That will help push up the price of the sealed product. I've said quite a lot on the channel. I think Paldean Fates is going to start snapping on the heels of 151 at some point soon in the near future. It might be 2 years from now, might be 3 years from now. But I think they're both equally really good sets, really good Elite Trainer boxes as well. And 151's just carving the way out for it, okay? 151 pushing up to, over 550 a box, 600 a box. I don't see a world where Paldean Fates doesn't follow that. It will just take a bit of time for it to get there. Paldean Fates is also going out of print this next month as well. A lot of people don't realise that, I don't think. Everyone knows that 151, Paradox, all that's going out of print. Paldea Evolved. But people don't really talk about Paldean Fates as well. Paldean Fates was right on the end as well. So it is in that earlier block. And technically out of official like print block window lettering, whatever you want to call it, later next month. So very, very interesting. I think price is going to continue to climb up on these. I still think they're massively undervalued. $325 last week, $350 last sold. Multiple sales yesterday for $350. So up, what's that, 6-7%, something like that over the last 7 days. I think they're just going to continue to climb up to that $500 range over the next year or two. Last sold eBay US $325, 335, 360. This one here actually, let's see, 325 auction, 335 buy it now, new listing tag, and then 360 on a normal buy it now. It just looks cheap to me. Even at this all-time high price, it looks cheap when you start looking at stuff like 151. It's the same age as 151, same block window. Also has the Bubble Mew as well. I think there's a lot of value there. Last sold eBay UK 400 now. And look at the range in price as well. Okay, this one's got a tear, but that's the difference between a buy it now with a minty box and a buy it now with a tear. That's why condition is everything with these. That is a just over 80 quid swing between a perfect one and a tiny tear one. We'll have a look at the tear actually and see how bad it is. But yeah, 80 divided by 400. 20% swing between a minty one and a torn one. And I still wouldn't buy that at that price unless I was opening it. But yeah, I would buy the minty one for 400. Even though 400 is quite expensive for it. Let's have a look at the tear, should we? Let's see how bad this is going to be. All right, let's find the tear. Where's the tear? Where's the tear? They've got it in a plastic case, which is not ideal for looking at condition. Okay, they've taken it out. Are they going to highlight the tear or not? We got to find it. We got to hunt the tear. Is that it there? If that is it, that is crazy that that is knocking it down 20%. I mean, personally, I wouldn't want to buy that because it's not perfect. I'm very particular with my boxes, but if that is the only tear on it, it just shows how important condition is. Because if that's knocking it down 20%, wow. Should we see if there's any more tears? Doesn't look obvious. I think that's it. I think the rest of the box is minty. So, I mean, if you're opening it, that's a pretty good deal because you're getting 20% off of market on it. But you'd have to work out whether it's worth doing that or the bundle for pack price if you're opening it. That does look like the only tear, though. Look at that little tiny bit on the side. And some people wouldn't mind that. But honestly, if you've got the intention of reselling that in the future, buy a minty one. Pay over market, buy a minty one. You will not regret it because 20% now might seem like a lot of money. 20%, if this becomes $1,000 booster box, it's a lot more money. It'll end up costing you more and more as time goes on. Paradox Rift, let's move on. Paradox Rift prices are all over the place. It had the retracement, now it's trying to bounce back to like 270 sort of range. It's crazy. Paradox is all over the place. 256 last week. Last sold 270, multiple sales at 270, so it's back up to its all-time high at 270. I think this is wild, right? The fact that that people on TCG Player are paying $270 for Paradox when you can buy Surgeon, Journey, all of that for cheaper is kind of crazy to me. I get it. It's going out of print. People are FOMOing into it. I just don't think it's that great of a value proposition. And that's not me insulting the set. I've done enough of that over this time. I'm just talking about purely value, like set value for cost of booster box. I don't think that it makes sense to buy that over Surging or Journey for that price point. Or even like Phantasmal. I'd rather just spend around about that price point and buy a nice sealed Phantasmal box. I don't know, just my opinion. Also, as well, there's Destined Rivals options as well. There's ancillary Destined Rivals products for cheaper than that I think are a much better play. Or even like, let's talk about Prismatic. Prismatic ETB. I'd rather have a Prismatic ETB and change than a Paradox Rift booster box, personally. But you're all entitled to your own opinions. People got really mad at me the other week when I said that black and white wasn't selling. Okay? And I think people misunderstood what I meant by that, and they got very emotional about it because they love black and white. When I say something's not selling, I mean that it's not shooting up in price. It's not selling for a premium. It's not selling for a profit at this given time. So, yeah, people get mad at me when I down talk Paradox Rift. People get mad at me when I down talk black and white. Excuse me. I hold no emotion over these sets. Okay, I'm purely looking at data point of view and my predictions of where they're going in the long term. Paradox Rift is a perfect example. You could buy Paradox Rift right now for 270, hold it for a few years, you're going to make money. And if you like that as a set, then that's great. I'm really happy for you. It's not a case of me versus you. Oh, I was right about Paradox and Pond was wrong. No, I think it's a fine set and I think it will continue to climb up in price. And if you like the set, then please do buy into it. I just think there's better places to put your money for faster growth. There's going to be more demand for stuff like Destined, Prismatic, Phantasmal in the future compared to a Paradox Rift booster box. Not to say there won't be a market for it. I'm just trying to compare the two, that's all. And this is one of the nice things about sealed product investing and collecting as well, because a big part of it is collecting too. If you like Paradox Rift, please buy it. Okay, that's great, because if I only bought what I thought was the best investment at the time, I'd be so unhappy. I don't do that. I'm a collector as well. I buy what I want to buy. Okay, I buy what I like. And if we make money on it as well, then that's great too. And that's one of the best things about what we do here with Pokemon. I mean, everyone who's watching this video here is either into sealed product or looking at getting into sealed product. Most likely you're already into it. And let's just compare it to the stock market. Okay, it's numbers on your phone, the stock market. Okay, you might say, oh, I like MacBooks and I like iPhones, so I'll buy more Apples, more Apple stock. But you don't have anything. You don't have any attachment to it. Oh, I kind of like gaming and computers, so I might buy some Nvidia stock. The nice thing about Pokemon stuff is you can buy and own what you like and still make money. So if you like Paradox Rift, you can buy it, own it, have it in your collection, feel good about it, and make money. Okay. Me personally, I'd much rather again move into sets that I prefer. I don't like Paradox Rift as much, so I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to have it in my collection. There we go. Quick little disclaimer, because some people get a bit emotional when I say a set's not the best, and it might be their favourite set. You can't entertain everyone, okay? For some people, Shrouded Fable is their best set, but historically, it's one of the worst performing in the Scarlet and Violet era. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I've left myself open to abuse now in the comments from all the Shrouded Fable people. Well, actually, Shrouded Fable is up 4.2% over the last week, PokePond. Why are you not looking at it? Because I'm not looking at every set. Okay, I'm looking at the main ones. Otherwise, I'll be here all morning for you. You can look at that yourself. If you like Shrouded Fable, you can look at the price points. I did look at Shrouded Fable last week, actually, so there you go. Anyway, we are digressing. So it's shooting up on TCG Player, back up to all-time highs at around about 270. eBay US is hitting 255, so it's still cheaper on auctions on eBay. I think 260, like I said, floor of the market. Anything below 260 is a good buy. So if you like Paradox Rift and you can scoop it for cheaper around about that 260 range on eBay, you're laughing. 275 on a buy it now, though, from 2 days ago. I think that's a little bit rich. But again, you can't really lose for that price point. You're close to retail. Put that away for a few years. You're going to make money. As long as you like Paradox Rift, that's fine. Me personally, for that price point, I would rather pick myself up a Surging or a Journey. Okay. Last sold, eBay UK, still one of the cheapest boxes here in the UK, 187 quid. Again, Journey is a little bit cheaper than that just because we had massive restocks of that recently here in the UK. Let's move on to Temporal Forces. Temporal Forces has recovered a little bit after its pullback at the start of March, where it fell from around about that 270 range to around about 250. Let's have a look at prices then. Last week it was 258. This week it is 264 with sales of 278, up a little bit over this last week. Still quite cheap on eBay though. One bid here. Look, only one person bidding on this box. Scooped one up for 250. Anything around about that 260 mark or below is a good deal, as I've said. ETBs creeping up a little bit as well now. Look at this. Normal ETBs, 111 quid. Oh, $111. For the Walking Wake. These are standard ones, not PCs. $95 for the is that Iron Leaves on the front? I don't know. I'm such a boomer. Like, the modern Pokemon is just like, I know them, but like I don't know them off the top of my head. Not all of them anyway. Who knows about Iron Leaves? Like, come on, Walking Wake is clearly the best Elite Trainer box out of the two. I had one. I think I ended up cracking it in the end. Yeah, I decided to crack it. Occasionally I crack product just because I get the itch and I want to. So I usually pick whatever the cheapest thing is that I've got at the moment. Although recently we've cracked AH, DR, yeah, crazy stuff, which people will say is mad. But honestly, I just have fun with it as well. My collection and portfolio is up stupid percentage points, so it's really not going to break the bank if I open up a Destined Rivals ETB every once in a while and have some fun with it. I'm not opening Prismatic there. I think people who open Prismatic are absolutely crazy because the pull rates are so low in that as well. You're basically just shooting yourself in the foot if you open up Prismatic, especially if you're not opening up a huge amount of it either. If you're just opening up like one ETB of Prismatic, like, nah, not my cup of tea. But a Destined Rivals, it was fun to open. Same with Ascended Heroes. Anyway, last sold eBay UK, just under 200 quid, 190 quid all in for that. Another one for 190 as well. Pretty cheap. Again, if you put that away, I think you'll do fine over the coming years with it. Let's move on then to Sword and Shield. We will whiz through Sword and Shield quite quickly because there's actually not too much going on with Sword and Shield this week. It's been pretty flat for the last couple of weeks. It has everything's just kind of sat at all-time highs, ready to move again. It will move again. It will continue to run. It's just when, I don't know. Could be in a few months' time, could be in 6 months' time, could be in a year's time. But these sets will move, and they're in a good position where once they start moving, everyone will just FOMO and they'll just leg up into the next plateau of pricing. Evolving Skies, let's have a look then. For sales last week, we are seeing 4 sales last week, all on the same day, all between starting at $2,500 and right up to the $2,600 range. We're seeing price action between buys and sells get a lot less volatile now on Evolving Skies. Everything's sort of settling around that $2,500 to $2,600 price mark. Again, perfect position for it to have a good run. Not saying that's necessarily going to happen anytime soon. It could take a few months. It might take another year for it to have a good run, but it will have a good run and it will push up all of Sword and Shield as well. Last sold eBay US, one of the higher prices that we've seen in a little while, $2,700. I thought this was funny because look, he's actually like put it on a scale and trying to like sell it as a premium, as like a heavy booster box. Apparently that's a thing now. I mean, credit to him. If he can put it on a scale and then sell it for an extra couple $100, then good for him. But what's to say he just doesn't have like a little weight behind that? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so what are you gonna do, return it to eBay? Like, I got my box and it actually weighed £1.11 instead of £1.12. I'd like to return this box, please. I'm pretty sure, like, when you spread out the weight difference of what a hit would be, and then you divide that by how many packs and how many cards you've got, I think the weight difference is going to be so, like, tiny that there's no way, surely, that you can predict if there's an alt art Moonbryon in that box from the weight of the whole box. Surely not. Again, comment down below because I'm shocked by some of these photos today. Last week we had the foot box. Those of you who watched will know what I'm talking about with the foot box, and we were inspecting carpets. This week we got people trying to weigh Evolving Skies booster boxes, and we've got scalpers at the vending machine trying to sell searching. Crazy, guys. Crazy time in the hobby. This is perfect proof that the world has gone mad right now. So yeah, last sold in the UK as well. Pretty much 2,300 quid all in, right up there at all-time highs. Here's another one from yesterday, just over 2,100, 2,130. Right up there at all-time highs. Like I said, not much move in price, but everything's selling right up there at all-time highs. So yeah, really good. Fusion Strike is actually pushing up a little bit this week. It was trading for $1,000 for quite a while, and 2 sales over the last week, one at 10.50 and one at 10.75. It's slowly creeping up, guys. Last sold eBay US $1,000 yesterday, another one going for 10.50. How common was it a few weeks ago that we would see these sell for like 8.50, 8.90, 8.20? Now it's getting that rarer and rarer to see them sell below $1,000. So keep an eye on Fusion Strike, again, right up there at all-time highs, in a good position to have a good run over the next year or so. Last sold eBay UK 822 quid, right up there at all-time highs again. Lost Origin, right up there at all-time highs, not much move in it, not much to say. Last week it was averaging 730. Last sale 720, 720, 713, 712. Basically no change. About a 1% swing either way. Just that's normal with ebbs and flows in the market. Brilliant Stars. Wow. Big news flash this week with Brilliant Stars. Destined Rivals now expensive than Brilliant Stars, apparently. Kind of crazy. let's have a look then at prices. Last week it was at 582. Last sale 589. A few dollars either way. Less than 1% swing either way. But again, all of these big boxes in Sword and Shield are just poised to have a good run. It will happen. They just might be flat for the next 6 months. They might be flat for just a month. They might be flat for another year. But once they move, they're not coming back down again. They'll move to the next level. Okay, you'll see Brilliant Stars push up probably to like the 750 range in the next move. You'll see Evolving Skies probably shoot up to $3,000. You'll see Fusion probably go up to 1,200, that kind of thing. Everything will just level up, and then yeah, it will consolidate down a bit, but it will never go back to these prices again. It's just a matter of time until it happens. Crown Zenith, no one's told Crown Zenith to slow down. We have said for a long time on this channel, Crown Zenith is one of the safest places to put your money. It just continues to grow. We can look out on the year chart. It's very consistent growth on there. Quite often just doing 2, 3, 4% week on week on week on week, just compounding. Great investment, not going to make you rich over time, but just generates wealth slowly for your collection. Really good trade bait for the future as well. When I talk about trade bait, I mean if you have some money lying around, $300, something like that, and you buy a Crown Zenith, put that in the back of your collection. In a couple of years' time, if you want to buy something else, you can probably put it as more like $500 towards trade. So you've gained $200 in like trade bait, or your collection's just appreciated a little bit more. So stuff like Crown Zenith are like really good building blocks for your collection to increase its collection value over time. Okay, hope that was clear. Gonna finish off with something a little bit different. We always like to just clear the air a little bit at the end of the episode. And I talked quite a lot about Destined Rivals earlier on in the episode, and about how it is the fastest growing booster box of all time, and how a lot of people are feeling priced out of the booster box. Now it's pushing up over $600 a box. ETBs, even the normal ETBs are going kind of crazy in price and starting to move. So if you can't afford the booster box, this is the next best thing. I personally have normal ETBs and PC ETBs of Destined Rivals in my storage unit. Look at this. It's now $200 an ETB. These have shot up quite a bit recently for the standard Destined Rivals ETB. I actually prefer the artwork of the standard ETB in black rather than the PC ETB that's more red. I do have both of them though. And yeah, actually, I think I cracked all of my standard Destined Rivals ETBs. Now I actually think about it, I think I've got cracked ones over there on the shelf, but I own a lot of bundles as well. But if you're feeling priced out of the booster box, this is a third of the price. I do think they will continue to climb up in value. And then the PC ETBs are going crazy as well. Look at this, $430 now. Oh, it's a foreign one, that's why. It was calculating it from Canadian exchange. Here we go, US to US. Look at this, even more, $460. It's not on a best offer either. This sold yesterday in the US. Buy it now, $460 for the PC ETB of Destin now. Kind of crazy. It's still nothing compared to the 151 PC ETB going for nearly $1,500 though. Nuts. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope it was informative for you. I have a great time recording these as well. Please do hit the like button. Is all I ask from you. It really does help push my content out there further. There is join club links down below if you want to support the channel. Otherwise, all of my content is completely free for all of you. Yeah, hope you all have a wonderful day, and peace.